Hello, this is Codes Nanotite, and this is the most epic crossover on my channel because we do board games and video games on my channel, and today we're going to be doing a crossover of those two things. A board game that is themed after a video game, and that board game is called Shovel Knight. Let's get into it. The goal of the game in Shovel Knight is to get through the level, then to the end boss to defeat the end boss, and then at the end of the game, the knight with the most coins is the winner of the game. On your turn, you have 3 actions, and 5 things you can do with the 3 actions are first moving, attacking, buying from the market, getting up from being knocked down, and using your special ability. So let's go over these actions. So first, of course, let's talk about moving. You can move once, but if you're jumping over a spike pit, and you need to do this because obviously there's spikes and they can kill you if you jump in. And you would maybe want to jump over because there's baddies on the other side. You may need coins, or you may want to get treasure that is in the middle of the spike pit. So that would give me 2 coins if I were to jump over the pit. So I would need to roll. So it would be a jump action. It would cost me 2. So I would roll, and I need 2 for it, and I got it. So I successfully jumped over the spike pit. And also, if I were to fail, if I failed jumping over the spike pit, I would die and lose half of my coins. So if I had 4 coins, I would go down to 2. And if I had 3, I would round up. So, yeah. The next action we need to talk about is attack. So, you target an enemy, and then you roll your attack dice. So that would be 3 dice. And then you would roll the dice, and you would need, for the bone clang, you would need at least 2 shovels to kill him. So I got exactly 2 shovels there. So I would be able to kill this bone clang and then get 2 coins, because that is how many you get for him when he dies. So your market action consists of you using a market action to pick up a card for 1 coin. If you want to pick up more cards, it costs more. So for the second card, it would cost 2, and then 3. So the price goes up. So you would put this in your armor slot, because it is armor, and you would have this for the whole entire game to have an advantage above your opponents. So that is the market action. The next action you can do on your turn is your special move. Shovel Knight's special move is to roll a cascading attack on an enemy in your space, and if you cause a wound, you may move 1 space and choose to continue the cascading attack on a new enemy. So essentially, if I was here, I would essentially attack this guy, and if I got a wound on him, I would move to this guy and do another attack, and I can continue doing that to other guys around me. And so that is your special move. The last action is the one that doesn't happen as often, but sometimes an enemy can knock you down. So for viewing purposes, we have them flat so you guys can see them, but we usually have them on a standee. Or you could use our special minis that we use, and you could be actually knocked down, but you use a full action to get back up. So those are all the actions you can do on your turn in Shovel Knight. After all players have taken their 3 actions, the enemies take a turn. After all the knights complete their turn, the enemies now have a turn. So they do 2 things. They move 1 towards first the enemy that's the closest, and then the enemy that has the most coins. So this guy would move here because this guy's the closest, but if this guy was here, he would move here because this guy has more coins than this guy. The second thing they can do is attack. So when the propeller rat moves to this guy, he would do 1 damage because he has 1 shovel on his thing. So it would just be, it does 1 damage, it attacks you, and then you would roll 2 defensive. That's what Shovel Knight has, at least. And you would try to defend its attack. So chances are you might get it, because it only does 1 damage, and I got it. And these symbols are what defensive actions are for. Now, there are more enemies than the propeller that attack you. Like the Wisdom, it has more health, more attack, and it's even range, so it doesn't have to be near you to attack you. Or the Gold Armor, which actually has a defensive, so it automatically does 1 defensive against you. And a lot of other ones, like the Hover Haft and the Liquid Samurai, and then the Gold Armor, give you 4 coins, while the other ones give you minimal coins, like 2, 3, and 1. So those are the enemies. So let's set up for the next round. So as a side-scroller goes, you would move everything this way. But what if Shovel Knight was here? If Shovel Knight was here and this had to be moved off, that means Shovel Knight would die. Just because it's like a side-scroller, and that it's kind of when Mario doesn't move fast enough. So everything would move this way. Just 1. So, like, if I were on the second one, I wouldn't die because it would become the first one. And then I will put 2 of the Mounds of Treasure on here. And then I would put enemies, so I would grab this, and that's 2 Bone Clangs, so I would put 2 Bone Clangs in this area. And that is how you set up for the round. When you've done all the rounds and you have no tiles left, and both Shovel Knights have moved to the end and jumped off, that is when you go defeat the big boss. So now we've reached the boss, and this is a completely different beast because there's 2 big things that have changed for our knights. So the first thing is that when you attack the boss, for 1 damage, you get 2 coins per damage. And that would be, if you did 2 damage, you get 4, etc., you know. And the other thing that's different is instead of after all the knights go, it's after an individual knight goes that the king has its turn. So the boss fight operates kind of like a player. So it obviously has more health. It has 15 health, 2 attack damage, and 2 defense damage. And it also has a special move. For this, it's the King Spin. And the King Spin is moving the King Knight to the space of the winning hero, so the one with the most coins. The King Knight knocks down that player, then attacks them. So that's a big win. So then the King Knight has his AI deck, and he flips it over. So for example, he would move to the corner. He would move to this corner because that's where it is. And the red spots are where people get attacked. So here and here is where they would get attacked. So he would get attacked for 2 attack damage. Because he's in that radius. The green one is not, and the king doesn't take any damage for that. So that is how the king works. Once you've defeated the king, you count up all your coins, and whoever has the most coins wins. And that is how you play Shovel Knight. What I like about Shovel Knight is they did a great job making it as much like Shovel Knight the video game as they possibly could. It simulates it perfectly. So a few examples of this is that it's just like a side-scroller video game. An example of that would be Shovel Knight. So they made it so the board moves as the game goes on, which I think is really cool. Another thing is half of your coins drop when you die. Just like most side-scrollers do. Like you drop most of your coins and stuff. So I think that's really cool. Another thing they simulated well is the art. It makes it seem like you're in a video game, which, how can they make it any more like a video game? It's crazy. Another thing I like is that you have special cards that you can use to have a little, like, advantage over your opponents to, you know, do better stuff, get better stuff like that. But the best part of Shovel Knight is definitely the boss fights. They're super intense and the best climax ever. And it's just an awesome part of the game. But one thing I don't like is that I don't always like when I try to jump over a spike pit and I roll bad and then I fall into the spike pit. It's like there's like not a ton of skill in the game is what I'm saying. So yeah, that's one thing I don't like, but overall the game is amazing. So that's all I have about that. Let's go. If you like this video and you want to see more reviews, because, you know, there's been a lot of Kickstarter unboxings, please smash that like button, smash the subscribe button, and smash the notification bell if you want to see more reviews the day they come out. Check out my socials, scan that QR code below so you can see my link tree, which has links to my YouTube channel, my Dice Tower playlist if you want to watch those, and my merch store, and my Facebook and Instagram. You can get all access to that stuff there. And make sure to look at those socials, because that's where I post my special content. And my merch store, because that's one of the best ways you can support me. Alright, fellas. Bye.